up from your top, maybe a McLaren vibes coming through here, maybe sort of teaming up with Lando?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to mention that. If I could pick someone, it'd be Lando.
Okay.
Me and him teaming up, I think we'd be a good team.
You'd be a great team. Listen, there's loads of features in a brand new game, but for today, we've got our celebrities. This is going to be the format. This is what's going to go down. This is what is important to you guys. 2 semi-finals. Qualifiers, group stage, nah, we're going straight to the semi-finals. 10 drivers in each. The top 5 drivers in each progress to the grand finals. That's 50%, so that's making it a little bit easier for everybody who's driving today.
Yeah, and there is one in the first race that can get through and race again because we've only got 9 in the next one. So
Okay.
a wild card, let's call it.
That is what we call it. I didn't know there was going to be a wild card. That is very exciting. All races take place at the home of British motor racing, Silverstone, and full assists available, no damage. Talk to me about yourself getting into gaming, because I know you're an avid gamer. When you're driving, the assists are definitely on to start with, right?
Yeah, because especially with F1, it tells you where you need to be on the track. It tells you when you need to brake. It's giving you all that, the hints and tips. So I think for our racers that haven't necessarily raced before, I think it'd be really good for them to have the assists. But if you want to kind of personalise it and put your own spin on it and try and get the fastest time, then I would take the assists off. But I think we're going to see some assists today.
Okay, and obviously with the My Team mode is a very exciting bit where you can actually really get in there, start making your changes. Who's competing? I hear you cry. Don't panic. It's time to have a look right now. Semi-final number 1. And what a lineup we have of people. Some very familiar names over the last 18, 15 months. We've seen some of these faces competing in the virtual Grand Prix. There you go, right at the top left, Bateson 87, normally known for playing FIFA online. Massive community, love Bateson. A lot of people are going to be cheering him on because he's actually a big F1 fan as well. So what do you make of Bateson joining this? Very exciting.
I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if his passion for F1 can translate into the game.
Yeah, because it's one thing to love motorsport racing, but actually to deliver. Maxime MXM, watch out for her. She is a fantastic sim racer, so I'm looking forward to seeing her. Then we've got Quadrant, FNG, Naren joining as well, and Pieface competed in the virtual Grand Prix, and we've got Maria Bish as well from Quadrant. So big F1 enthusiast. I'm also seeing the name there, Jelly. Familiar with his work, makes some fun YouTube videos.
Yeah, fun YouTube videos. I haven't seen an F1 YouTube video from him. I could be wrong, but it'll be interesting to see whether he can kind of pick it up easily or whether he's got experience in the game itself.
Yeah, maybe we didn't scroll down far enough. Well, we can find out now, because joining us, the Dutch sensation, that's what I'm calling them both. We have Maxime MXM. Lovely to see you again, Maxime, and Jelly as well. First of all, I'll ask you, Jelly, is there an F1 video that myself and Els the Witch have missed out on?
A video, I mean, in real life, yes. I've vlogged. I've been at many F1 events, and I've participated in not racing, but being there. However, not the game yet. No, maybe soon.
Okay, and how have you found getting ready for this competition then, this semi-final 1? You don't seem nervous.
No, I'm very relaxed. No, I think I'm up against some really good drivers, but I've played a good amount of F1 2019, 2020, and now 2021. I've done some practicing, so I'm actually ready. Yeah.
Okay, and your Dutch compatriot over there, look at the trophy cabinet, look at the display. Maxime, you have held nothing back for this competition. How are you doing? Are you excited to get racing?
Yeah, I'm good. I am very excited to race. This is a great event, and I hope I can show what I can do and beat some of the other competitors.
I mean, Maxime, is there anyone else in your group that you see as competition? Who do you see, or is Jelly your main competition here?
Yeah, I think so.
Jelly will be interesting, but there are some other strong
1 minute
competitors
27,
as well. Oh, yeah, 1 minute 27. And I think Chestnut and Tom will be also very strong, so that will be funny.
Yeah, funny is what we're looking for. It's having a bit of fun. Will your driver assists be on, Maxime? Because Els played last night, got to grips with Silverstone, and when you're getting into a new game, you need to have those assists and then take them off as you get better.
Well, I've raced without assist for a while, so they are all turned off now as well. But it's a new game, the handling is a bit different. The curbs are way more tricky, so you have to watch out for that and not spin, because that's the main goal. Just not spin, stay on the track, and see where we can finish.
Yeah, I'm loving the tips being passed on. Jelly was writing those down, I think, Maxime. Jelly, obviously, the Dutch, contingency today is Max Verstappen, someone that's kind of, he has to be your #1 F1 driver, right?
Yes, of course, of course. I mean, he's the only one. He's the only Dutch F1 driver right now. So he's a Dutch hero, and he's doing amazing. So I hope he gets the title this year.
That would be incredible, Jelly. Well, listen, any tips, Els, because you did say, driving last night, corners to avoid maybe.
I was going to mention turn 16, it's near the end. I wasn't very good. I was going out too wide, I was coming off the track, all my times are being disallowed. So I would keep an eye out for that one, make sure you brake hard enough and don't do what I did.
There you go. Els has given the final tip for you guys. Maxime, Jelly, best of luck to both of you in this semi-final #1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right then, Els, I don't know about you, but we should have a look at semi-final 2 lineup. And now, I'm sorry about this. What I know about you, Els, you're a little bit, that to you is imbalanced. There's
that
a player
gap
missing.
in the middle is not
bit
so well
OCD
with
there.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is for our wild card. So let's just imagine there's a wild card there.
Perfect. And this seems to be a little bit football heavy. I love this. Andros Townsend, Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey, both teammates at Everton. Yeah. I'm sure they won't be very friendly to each other on the track. They won't be teammates because top 5 go through. That's
playing for yourself as well today.
100%. Brandon Williams. Also, a very familiar face, Nick Hamilton for the Gfinity Arena when we're doing the F1 Esports Pro Series. And Katie Munnings. Now, we know she could be the outsider. She's the one with the actual driving experience.
Yeah, for me, she's the one to watch, to be honest with you. I feel like she might be able to implement her real-life driving skills into the game, so it'll be interesting to see how she performs today.
Yeah, also, other facts I know about Els, don't like egg, no mayonnaise, and don't know how to iron. These are 3 facts?
Well, I do. I know how to iron, I just choose
not to.
Not to, yeah.
OK, smart move. I love that. Also, 2 people in that lineup, which I'm very excited to see what they have got up their sleeves. Of course, Adebayo and Dele Akinfenwa, who are joining us right now.
Hello.
This is a little bit of family rivalry, which I'm very excited to see what happens. We'll come to you first, Dele, because you're on the top of the screen. Brotherly rivalry, are you going to be easy on your brother today?
Nah, I'm not going to be easy at all. No, I'm the youngest. So if you can imagine, he bullied me as a little, when we was little, and this is my time to bully him on the track.
I love that. Little bit of sort of rivalry. Adebayo doesn't look too fussed about that. Bullying, did that go on, Adebayo?
I don't like the word bullying, it sounds nasty. I just put him in his place. I did it when he was young. So, you get me? I think he's got a little bit of jealousy because he's always been in my shadow. So he's got bigger arms than me. Nah.
All right, guys, what I want to know is, who is the better driver in real life?
Ooh. Listen. Ooh, what? Tell the truth and the devil be ashamed. Like, ooh. Huh? Who's the better
I'm the better driver.
Do you know the worst thing?
I'm the better driver.
Our mum will be watching this and she raised you not to lie. Why are you lying? Cool. You keep lying.
Well, you know I'm the better driver.
All right, cool. We'll see.
I love that. It's already happened. I mean, I've already looked into this. There's no beast mode feature in the new F1 2021 in game. So what are you bringing? What is your secret weapon for going into this race in the semi-final 2?
Beast mode is a mindset, so it may not be there in the game, but it's in my real life. So I'm just going to bring the beast mode mindset into the game. You see what I did there, team? You see what I did there?
I love that. I'm a bit unsure about asking this question about. You remember we said about like who's the stronger of the 2? Were you going to ask it? Or
I'll ask it.
Okay.
Guys, who would win at an arm wrestle out of both of you?
Y'all don't see these guns. Y'all don't see these guns.
I'm not gonna lie, listen. I ain't gonna lie. I actually took him on in an arm wrestle a couple years ago, and I beat him. but my arm was in a sling off. So, but it's on. You can't even lie, bro. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. That was like 4 years ago.
Afterwards, I felt the pain. So I don't know. Let's just go beat him on this, and then we can talk about the arm wrestle another day.
All right, I love that. I love that. And Deli, obviously, personal training. I love that. You've got to be having the mindset. I feel like Deli's got that mindset. He's going to be cool, calm, and collected. Is that right, Deli?
100%. I got that BMO mindset. Like my brother said, it's a mindset. So I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be calm.
Don't sugarcoat this.
Why are you getting involved?
Listen, guys, we'll leave you to.
My brother's only got 2 kids. I've got 5, so my household's busier. He's a gamer. No, don't. My brother's a gamer. Don't even try to gas.
Deli, Bayo, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you to discuss this argument, to settle it. It's going to come down to the semi-final 2 to sort that out. Bayo and Deli Akinfenwa, thank you very much for joining. Best of luck to both of you drivers. Oh, I absolutely love that. Who is going to win that rivalry? Who's going to get the bragging rights today? We will soon find out. Hey,
yeah, we will. Wow.
Well, listen, we need to introduce another member of the team because we need to have that extra person to make the perfect triangle. He goes by the name of Matt Gallagher. Why? That's because it is his name. Matt Gallagher, a.k.a. the Excalibur. That's what I'm calling you from now on, Matt. You're the expert up there.
I don't know why. You've never called me that before, but hello, welcome. I'm very excited to be here. F1 2021 is a brand new game. It gets those feels going, doesn't it? And this little celeb race, I'm very excited. Don't ever call me Excalibur ever again, Tom. But apart from that, everything else is all good.
Yeah, very exciting. That particularly in the game, and I know this, Els, you'd love to be in a game. I'd love to be actually in a game. Matt Gallagher, you're in this game again, aren't you? Why?
Didn't pay you to say that, just before anyone thinks that I did. Yeah, I was scanned into the game a few years ago. Codemasters got me into this room and scanned every part of my body and put me in the game. And, yep, I know. Let's keep it PG, Tom. Let's keep it PG.
But that's, as a racing enthusiast, that's just the coolest thing. We've got the pro esports drivers, Jarno Watmere, David Tanitsa, Brendan Lee. They're all in the game, and then people just get to be in it. That's such a cool thing.
Oh, it really is. I can only imagine. Well, I'm in it, so I can imagine. But yeah, it's so amazing to kind of be immortalised in a game. It's very odd. You got Brendan Lee, you got Jarno Watmere from previous seasons gone by in F1 esports as well. It's a weird dream come true. You never really think that could happen, and then all of a sudden you're there. Like my tweet's there in Breaking Point. It's mad.
Yeah, mad indeed. Last night, Matt, Els was actually practising on Silverstone. Which turn was it again? 16. It's the big turn, and then there's a smaller turn afterwards. And I was going way off the track, and I was being invalidated. Yeah. My track was invalidated, so I need all the tips I can get. Yeah, so Matt, could you talk us through Silverstone and also why you love it so much and what is that turn 16 that people need to watch out for today? Well, we will get there, but Silverstone is an iconic track, one of the best in my opinion, and has got so much history, and I'm really excited to see the drivers go around here. There's so many overtaking opportunities, 18 corners, and yeah, it's just one of those tracks that you just know you're going to get some good racing, Tom. Yeah, and why is it so special to you then, Matt? Silverstone, it's the home of British motor racing. Why is it so iconic? It's just had so many incredible races around there. I mean, this literally was the beginning of Formula One that started at Silverstone. So it's got so much history amongst it. Of course, the layout has changed a few times over the years, but this modern day layout is amazing. Maggots and Beckett's, as you can see on your screen right now, is an incredible part of the track to see in real life, to see the cars absolutely on their limit. There's Vale, turn 16. Sorry, Els, had to mention it, but it is very difficult. And in terms of these drivers, they're all on the pad today. Some will have more experience than others. What areas should they look out for and maybe really just send it? Well, it's going to be difficult. I think that the main thing is just getting used to a controller, because some of them will be used to using a simulator controller. You need such fine inputs, especially on the steering. You know, you're just literally using your thumbs to kind of get that absolute perfect angle. So turning in at the right time is key. And I think Maggots and Beckett's will see a few cars off in turn 1, definitely. OK, and in terms of Kate Munnings, who's got a bit of that experience before as a driver, Els and I were chatting about it, she would therefore probably be more likely to maybe there or thereabouts at the top. Or does that not matter? Does do you throw that out of the window, Matt?
Well, it certainly matters for sure, and I'm sure Nick Hamilton won't appreciate you not mentioning him in the racing driver experience category, but I'll mention him as well. Good old Nick Hamilton, of course, part of this series as well. But yeah, those two, of course, have racing driver experience, so they'll know the lines, they'll know the kind of roughly the braking points. So it does help for sure, but then practice can also help that as well.
Yeah, but the reason I didn't mention Nick Hamilton, obviously very familiar with the Gfinity Arena and F1 Esports Pro Series. I call him Nico. That's number one. I've decided that.
You've never called him
but
that.
Also, he's on the pad and he's not used to that. So I think he's going to be outside of his comfort zone, but definitely going to have a lot of fun today, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Kate Munnings probably either is used to a pad, so I'm not sure where you're going with that, Tom, but I like you you're trying to cover your tracks anyway.
All right, don't pull it apart, mate. We're all having fun here, Matt Gallagher. Right, I'm going to put you on the spot before we get trackside. Who is going to win this in this semi-final one, then?
Oh, very difficult indeed. I'd like to say one of the racing drivers for sure will be up there, but I'm not going to say... I'm very much known for my jinxing, so I'm not going to say anybody's names, and therefore I can't be told off.
OK. Oh.
It's an easy way out, that.
Yeah, it's sitting on the fence. Nico Hamilton's going to be very annoyed with that, but we will see him very shortly. Matt, let's head to Silverstone then to get the race underway.
Right, let's take a look at the qualifying results then for semi-final one. And it's Niren on pole position with a 1 minute 27.3, the man from Quadrant, ahead of Dirk Chocolate in P2. Then you have Chesnoid Gaming, a 28.5 in P3, ahead of Tommy T, 999 in the Mercedes. Then you have Jelly, 21.9 million subscribers, gets him P5 with a 1 minute 30.2, ahead of Maxime MXM. Probably a little bit disappointed with that, with Maxime. And then you have Bates and 87 and Pieface. I saw the mistake watching qualifying live, and it means he starts all the way down in P8, but it's definitely going to be one to watch. Then you have Ria Bish Maria from Quadrant as well in P9, and rounding out the top 10 is Parkley F1 with a 1 minute 36.7. This is finely poised for a 25% race around Silverstone. And who's going to come out on top? You've got Pieface, who's had a bit of a struggle there. I saw him basically crash at Maggots and Beckett's down in P8, but he's definitely got the pace to be right at the front. So it's going to be very, very close to see what exactly happens. Let's find out right now. Here we go then. It's lights out and away we go for this first semi-final. Niren on pole position ahead of Dirk Chocolate as we go flying into turn one. Dirk has taken the lead, actually. It's Red Bull versus AlphaTauri. Niren is currently just about ahead. We've got a yellow flag in sector one. The AlphaTauri goes slightly wide, but it is Niren ahead of Dirk Chocolate. But there's lots of carnage going on. There's an Alfa Romeo round, and Niren continues on into the lead as Dirk Chocolate tried so desperately to get through in those first couple of corners, but he's going to continue in P2. Then we have Tommy T 999. Pieface already up to P4 from P8 on the grid. Watch him over these next 13 laps. But right now we're focusing in on the battle for the lead. Dirt Chocolate versus Niren right ahead. I was really surprised actually to see Niren get pole position. He certainly doesn't play all too often. We can see Dirk down in the bottom left as well. There's absolutely no track limits being abided by there through the old turn one Cops corner as Dirk continues on very quickly indeed through Maggots and Beckett's. Niren's gone very wide indeed at the last part. This could enable Dirk to get a great run down towards Stowe Corner. They're going to be side by side. In fact, Niren's had a terrible run out of there. Side by side into Stowe Corner on lap number one. Niren's going to defend the inside line. Does Dirk go all the way round the outside? Not quite, as Maxime has left the session, unfortunately, but Dirk looks to the inside again. Nothing doing into the Elves Corner Vale, turn 16. They both get through pretty much unscathed, but Dirk's going to go up the inside at the final corner. They're still fighting here as Dirk takes the lead going into turn number one on lap two. Unbelievable scene. Niren still very much close there in P2. Tommy's 1.1 seconds back, so not really troubling these two at the moment, but there's all kinds of trouble going on behind. Pieface trying to get through on Tommy T 999 for the final podium position. And we take a breath. That was lap one. Lots of chaos, but Dirk has taken the lead now, 0.6 of a second ahead of Niren in P2. Then we've got Pieface, P3. Closing in, actually, 1.1 seconds. Actually made a slight mistake as I say that. Very much known for my jinxing. Tom and Els, what did you make of that first lap? There was a lot going on. Dirk leading, Niren P2. It's finally poised.
Yeah, finally poised. I feel for Jelly in the Alfa Romeo just coming off early doors in there, skidding off. He's got a lot to do. Maxime, unfortunately, leaving the session, but we watched it. Dirk Chocolate, same turn. You pointed it out, Els.
Yeah.
16, went wide, but is still leading. What have you made from it?
I mean, I've taken some tips, to be honest with you. It's interesting they're not using assists. I've noticed with Dirk, he's not using what I use anyway, which is to tell you where to go on the track. That turn that I mentioned is a good overtaking spot, so I think it's going to be interesting to see if there is sort of that close top 2 or 3, what's going to happen as the race progresses.
Yeah, I'm looking down there towards the Finn in 9th position. Jago, amazing YouTuber in Finland, giving it a lot to do. Now, we did mention it earlier. Obviously, this is the wild card in 6th place. We'll be going through to that grand final because there's only 9 competitors in our semi-final too. So that's on the line. But Pieface, I tell you what, he's got so much. He's come back, hasn't he, Matt, after that early crash in qualifying. You thought he could probably do it.
I did, yeah. I pretty much had him as the hot favourite coming into this, and of course he then crashed in qualifying, so that's just the powers that I have, unfortunately. Pieface, yeah, P3's closing in on Niren, as we can see, half a second back. So he'll get the use of DRS, as you can see. He's in that kind of seating forward position. You know, when you kind of make sure you're going to just take it a little bit more seriously. Like when you're playing FIFA, you just kind of sit forward when you go 1-0 down. This is exactly what Pieface is doing right now. He's in the slipstream of Niren, going into Maggots and Beckett, so will have a great opportunity. If he comes through here nice and easy, Niren getting very slidey indeed. Tom, do you reckon this move's going to happen? I want to see you commentate a bit of this.
It's DRS right here. He's going for it. And Niren, I was going to say, with obviously that connection with Arava, he's probably been given a few tips because Arava's had the game already, a few reviews, especially in the breaking point story mode. So I'm reckoning Niren's been given a few tips, but Pieface doing a brilliant job. And also, to pick up on a point you said, Matt, of course you've got to lean forward. If you lean back while you're gaming, you're too comfortable, you're not in the zone. Am I right, Els?
Yeah, I have to have a good stance. Like when I game, I have tunnel vision and I can't have anything distracting me. So I'm definitely sit forward, focus. Because especially with racing, if you get thrown off, it could all be over. You could spin out. It could be the end of the race.
Yeah, Matt, that happened between a previous F1 competition that Els was in. Yeah. Too much chat in her ear. Was quite distracting. I believe maybe you were to sort of blame for that?
No, it wasn't my fault at all. It was definitely Rory Reid who was the other host that day. But yeah, actually, I disagree with how you sit, especially on the controller. I won a league championship in F1 2013 in a bunk bed. So there you go. There's a statistic you didn't have. So
great image for
as long as you're comfortable, it doesn't matter how.
How can you be comfortable in a bunk bed? Were you top or bottom?
Top.
Okay.
It was incredible. Anyway, back to the racing action. Not a lot of people want that image of me in a bunk bed. Niren, P3 at the moment, still within DRS of Pieface ahead, who hasn't been able to make many inroads into Dirk Chocolate, who's currently in the lead of this race, but it doesn't matter. Top 6, as Tom says, just gets through to the grand final. So right now, Bateson, Maxime, Parkali and Riabish are going to be the 4 that drop out here. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, which has now been cleared. We also have Pieface in the pits. So that's something we haven't really mentioned at the moment, is the strategies. Here we go then. So Pieface started on the soft compound tyres. I think a lot of them did, to be honest. So he's going for the undercut. Going to get some fresh tyres, these mediums. And you can see he's having a great time. He's got a little smirk on his face. Probably didn't have that smirk when he crashed in qualifying. He's one of those ragey gamers, which I know that I am, and you are as well, Els. You kind of, you know, if it doesn't go well, there's a bit of steam coming off your head.
Yeah, especially in F1. If I'm spinning out, I'm ready to give up at that point. Yeah. I find it hard to keep composure, especially if someone hits into me and spins me out, which is what happened to me before. I get very angry about it. But, you know, it's all good entertainment at the end of the day.
What is also good entertainment is that Chesnoid Gaming has just got past Tommy T999 for currently P3 on the road, but that'll be P4 once all the pit stops happen. But Chesnoid Gaming up into a current podium position, and he'll have to get a move on if he wants to actually be sat there. But as we say, there he is, Tommy. Met him a few years at Silverstone, massive Formula 1 fan, also YouTuber. Loves his Call of Duty, and he's very, very in the zone. I think, as El says, he's just tunnel visioning right now. I don't think I've seen him blink once yet.
And there's 2 possible chairs there, so at some point, it's kind of like a bunk bed. If you were to take
Hold on, that's a move up the inside into Stowe, and that almost paid off there, but Chesnoy Gaming just braked a little bit too late for Tommy T to make a move. Sorry, Tom, I know you're making a brilliant point, but if action happens, I've got to stop you.
No, and I think that's quite right, and I'm all for that, Matt. In terms of the game, I know there's a story mode breaking point, which seems a lot of fun, and up there in the commentary box, you're all alone, used to be Alex Jakes alongside you, who's now in the game. That's a very cool, novel little bit that I saw, and also Davide Valsecchi as well, so very immersive, and you're getting real-life commentators in the game.
Indeed, yeah, I used to love back in the day when they had commentators sort of speaking over your experience, and Breaking Point, I've played a fair chunk of it, and it is brilliant, to be honest. I'm not a massive single-player kind of guy myself. I prefer the multiplayer, hardcore, sweaty experience, but Breaking Point is brilliant. I really love the way they've kind of immersed a story around you. You kind of start very much from the bottom, new kid on the block, and you have to make your way through the field. But not only that, you know, of course, you had career mode, you know, years gone by, but with this, you know, you have that element of, oh my God, I actually have someone to impress, or, you know, if I don't do well in this particular performance, Devon Butler's going to be a bit of an idiot, as he usually is in most of the series. So yeah, I really enjoy it, and I think it's going to be a big hit with the fans. And another thing that's going to be very good at the moment is Tommy T 999 out in the lead at the moment, but he has not stopped. Let's take a look and see actually what's happened in the pit stops. Dirt Chocolate has been overtaken by Mr. Pieface in the pit stop somewhere, and Pieface now leads this Grand Prix when it's all shaken out. So something's happened away from camera, and it must have been pretty drastic for Dirt Chocolate to have lost this lead. So moving on now, Sector 3, we have a yellow flag, as that's a lot of smoke in the pit lane of the Mercedes there. And we still have a yellow flag out in Sector 3. Maria from Quadrant, she's not a massive Formula 1 gamer herself. I've seen her struggle a little bit in some Quadrant videos in the past, and 33 seconds off the back of 9th place, although she has made a stop. I think she's going to struggle to make it through to the grand final. Another yellow flag in Sector 3, which means lots of things are going on, and hopefully we'll get to see some of them, but it is quite difficult to keep up with it. A lot of them are not really struggling too much with track limits. Here's Bateson 87, he's currently in P3, but he hasn't made his pit stop yet, so really struggling out there is Bateson, going very long on the soft tyres. Tom or Els, do you have his number to let him know to change tyres at any point?
Do you know what, with Bateson, Matt, I think he knows exactly the strategy he's going to go with. I would never, in any way, shape or form, tell Bateson how to race as we're watching Dirt Chocolate come off the track there. But Bateson going for a medium tyre strategy before the race started in this semi-final number 1, Matt. Is that the tyre strategy you would have gone for?
Well, Bateson should have pit by now. Let's put it pretty clear, to be honest. Everyone else has stopped from the soft tyres. Bateson is providing an absolute roadblock for Dirt Chocolate at the moment, and I'm very surprised. We just saw Dirt there in the bottom left-hand corner that he was smiling. If that was me, I would be I'd be headless right now. But he's going to go up the inside now into Stowe corner. Should be able to make the move done on those fresher medium tyres, but Bateson is putting up a huge fight, and finally, maybe he's listening to the commentary, comes into the pits. So as he gets out the way, we have Pieface in the lead by 1.5 seconds. Maxime hasn't stopped either. So Pieface, I'm very impressed indeed. P8 on the grid, and the boy that I pretty much said at the start
listen
was
to
Matt, you took the easy route and didn't say anyone.
I said it off camera. I definitely said Pieface was the one to watch, and I actually sent him a message and said, don't get too nervous, and he hasn't. He's done a brilliant job. Here is Dirt Chocolate trying to get past Maxime MXM, who currently right now is ghosted, and that's to allow Dirk straight through, in fact, in the Red Bull. So Dirk now up to P2, can focus on potentially catching Pieface, but all he has to do is finish top 6 to get into that grand final. Then it's all to play for. Reset and go again in the final. But let's take a look a little bit further down the field. So Tommy T999 is currently in P6. That will become P5 once Maxime has pitted, which will then promote Jelly into that 6th and golden position, the wildcard position, to get through to the final. So it'll be interesting to see where Maxime really feeds out here, because she's clearly started on the mediums, and is going to whack on a fresher set of softs at the end to go on the attack. In fact, Tommy's gone on the hard tyres, which is something I would not have recommended yeah, that's a very strange strategy from Tommy. I'll be having words with him, but it does look good on the Mercedes, actually. It matches quite nicely on the livery, but I don't think that's quite really what he wants to go for here. Niren's going past Maxime as well at the dreaded Vale corner. So whatever tips Els gave at the start, Niren has been writing down furiously because he got through there unscathed.
Come on, Matt, you know the saying, look good, feel good, drive good. Maybe that's why he's gone for the hard tyres there.
I'm so glad you're not an esports driver, Coach Tom. But they would look good, don't get me wrong.
Do you know what? No, but that's the mentality. If you look good, you feel good, you drive good. Surely that's how you won your competition on the said bunk bed.
No, actually, I chose the right tyres at the right time. Didn't matter how I looked. Just whacked on the freshest sets, the softest set, because of course, the softer the tyres, the quicker they go, but they're less durable. But the hard tyres really didn't have any place in this race, to be honest. It was a soft-medium strategy. They clearly didn't look at the race strategy before we got underway. Here is Pieface, still sitting forward. A bit of a grimace on his face. He wants this P1, and it looks like he's very much on his way. That's the exact moment he lost it through Magnussen and Beckett. He's a big pad player, and I'm not surprised his experience is coming through. He streams on Twitch quite a lot, and sometimes on the F1 game, and it is brilliant to see him involved in this celebrity race. And right now, looking very comfortable indeed. Tom, if you were part of this celebrity race, where would you be? What position?
Well, Matt, I know whatever I say, you're going to laugh.
Digits.
So, pad playing, I think I'd be... do you know what? I'm going to be...
10th. Els, what about you?
Well, I think because it's pad playing, I'd be 6th, I reckon. I might be the wild card. I'm not going to say I'm up with the top half, but I'd like to
that.
think
You're backing yourself. You're backing yourself.
Do you see what it's like to work with Matt Gallagher, Els? It's challenging at times because you just, I leave here, I'm shell-shocked. Every time I work with him in any form of the F1, I'm shell-shocked, and I go home and I cry.
Your tears taste great.
I try and practice and get better, and I learn more about certain tracks, and
You
I
have
offer
not
it out.
practiced since I last saw you on that simulator, have you?
Do you know what? I did actually practice in a sim, in a rig with Chris Hughes, just a name drop.
All right.
And,
there you go.
And I quote, he went, "Oh, you're really good at this." And do you know what I said? In the back of my head, I didn't say anything. I said, if only Matt Gallagher was here now.
I'm not sure if that says more about his talent or yours. But,
Do you know what I mean? See, again, he can't say a nice comment.
I haven't seen
Chocolate is doing very well in second place. Do you think he's going to catch up with Pieface, or is this a foregone conclusion now, Matt?
Well, anything I say, usually the opposite happens, but right now 3.8 seconds would suggest that Pieface is pulling away from Dirt Chocolate, so it's pretty safe, the top three. Niren's doing very well indeed. I'm actually quite quietly impressed with Niren, to be honest, with the fact that he doesn't play Formula 1 that much, I don't think, but he's certainly up there at the moment. Chesnoy Gaming P4, Tommy T999 in 5th, and then Maxime has slotted in that wildcard position. So Jelly 13 seconds back from that position he needs to get through to the final. So we spoke to the two, Maxime and Jelly, before the race, and well, it seems like only one of the two is going to get through, although Maxime has come into the pits, so she hasn't actually stopped yet. So she started on the soft tyres and has gone 10 laps on those soft tyres. We really need to get onto them for some esports strategy here. But look, it's fine. They're all having fun, but that's going to actually promote Jelly to the wildcard position. We saw Niren in the bottom left chatting to someone, but he's fine. He's just having a jolly in P3. The problem is now for Maxime, she's only got a couple of laps to catch 10 seconds. Actually loses position to Bateson as well. So Jelly, 21.9 million subscribers, are going to be celebrating tonight.
I love the way you said earlier on that 29 million subscribers helped Jelly in qualifying, Matt. But
have a home crowd.
To spur them on, a question I have, and this is for Els as well, in terms of the F1 2021, Matt, how different was it driving, and how long do you reckon it will take people to get up to speed with it?
From my experience, it's not a huge difference to F1 2020 in terms of the actual handling, because they didn't really need to change a huge amount. F1 2020 was a massive step up on the handling model in general. 2021, there's some interesting features. One of them is the introduction of floor downforce. So the curbs are a little bit more dangerous than they have been in the past few years. So if you get a little bit leery on the curbs, get a bit eager on the throttle, you'll lose the handling and you'll just lose all the downforce that you expected maybe in previous games. So it's another step forward in terms of realism, and that's the kind of thing I like. I want more of a challenge, and that's exactly what Codemasters are producing.
Yeah, the thing is with the damage mode, there's more areas you can damage, affecting, like you say, the downforce, drag, and engine temps, which is makes it a little bit harder. But with this, there's no damage on, so we won't necessarily get to see that. But when you want that realism, Matt, is coming through in 2021.
It certainly is. I'd love to see where these games are in 5-10 years, because they are taking huge leaps and bounds forward already. And yeah, I'm really excited. You know, I've loved Formula One games ever since I was, well, I could hold a controller. So it's brilliant to see how far they've come. I love to have Natalie Pinkham, especially on the F1 Esports Pro Series shows. She's just astounded with how these games look, and I absolutely love seeing her reactions. We're actually on the penultimate lap, so I should probably talk about the racing action here as Pieface is coming down towards Stowe Corner. Very excited for this weekend, of course, the real-life British Grand Prix, a brand new format as well, with sprint qualifying, which will be a very interesting watch, something new for the fans. And Friday qualifying, that's going to be rather interesting. But Pieface is about to start his final lap of the race, P8 to P1, and only has one more lap to negotiate, eking that gap out even further to Dirt Chocolate in P2. Niran, it seems like the gaps really aren't changing. They haven't read the script, of giving us close, crazy racing for 13 laps, but it's absolutely fine. I'm sure the final will be many more dive bombs. Lap 1 was pretty crazy anyway, and I think a couple of the drivers, maybe Maxime, Bateson, getting involved in those and may look back at this and think, what if I'd got through lap 1 unscathed? But we're still having a look at Pieface, and he's a brilliant character. I love watching him on Twitch, and I'm sure he'll be a great person to speak to. Look at him, he's just chatting away, he's loving life. P1, it's just a lovely little Sunday afternoon drive, isn't it? So through Copse Corner and into Maggots and Beckett's. These were the sequence of corners I was saying. If you can go to the British Grand Prix and you can stand to the left, not even in the grandstand, you can just walk around and just see these cars in anger through there. It is absolutely unbelievable. It is the speeds that they go. Sometimes isn't done justice on television, but when you're there, it is amazing to watch. Through Stowe Corner, I've sat there so many years. It's a brilliant place to watch as well. And look at him, he's absolutely buzzing. Coming into Vale, you'll see Els somewhere in the gravel over there, and he comes round the final couple of corners, and Pieface is going to win semi-final 1. What a brilliant drive from 8th on the grid to P1. Pieface takes the victory ahead of Dirt Chocolate. Niran almost getting P2 at the end there, but has to settle for P3. Chesnoid Gaming comes in P4. Then we wait a tiny little while for Tommy T999 to secure P5. And it seems as though Tom and Els, Jelly will be the final wild card into the grand final.
Tell you what else, we were treated there. Semi-final 1, done and dusted. Pieface going through, Dirt Chocolate, Niran, and Jelly as well, just sneaking in there. Any surprises? Who stood out for you in that race?
I mean, I had a feeling the skill level would be quite high because obviously they're YouTubers or gamers. They've got some experience, but Pieface really surprised me. He's come from P8, was it, and gone all the way up to the front. Dirk was really good as well. I think those two are my standouts. And Jelly got the wild card, and he was using the wrong tyres, according to Matt. So.
Yeah, according to Matt, using the wrong tyres. Not happy with that. Bateson, though, what a surprise that was. A big F1 fan. I know he's more into his FIFA, but knowing that he's a big F1 fan as well, and occasionally plays, I was very surprised. And do you know what? I'm going to stick it on him right now and ask him, because I've got Bateson with us. Now, Bateson, talk to me. Long ago, many moons ago, you were in the Gfinity Arena. But what on earth was happening there? Tell me what's going on in your mind right now.
Technical issues. I don't usually play on this console, and I left a certain setting on, which is someone who's just loaded up the game would use, and that's what I was stuck on all the way throughout the race, and it was very frustrating. I knew I'd get like top 5, but unfortunately I was racing against the AI and trying to stay ahead of them throughout the game.
Yeah, Matt Gallagher did point out you were waiting and waiting until you pitted to change the tyres. What was going on there?
Also, I was waiting for a blue line to come up. The blue line didn't come up, so I was like, it's a bit too late now. I'm going to go in myself. Couldn't go in myself, and it threw me back on the track in front of Pieface.
Oh, no.
So I was like, right, we'll just limp it home and have some fun.
Yeah, Els and I were watching. Now I know I was telling Els that you're a big F1 fan. What are you liking about the 2021 game so far?
Oh, I'm absolutely loving it. The graphics are a massive, massive change from the 2020 game to this one. It's just like you can't help but look around you while you're racing as well. And I can't wait to get my hands on it more for the next couple of weeks.
I mean, you mentioned kind of being drawn back using the wrong settings. Do you normally fully customise your settings, and how often do you actually play the game itself?
Oh, I customise a few things. I still am quite assisted. We play with a lot of the viewers in sub lobbies and have a lot of fun. I'm usually like in the midfield, but I'll probably say I'm a little bit better. And I'm replaying this game non-stop now until FIFA. But I probably will still delve into it now and again to have some fun with the viewers.
Yeah, that's what it does. It offers a lot of fun. And a guy who's got fun written all across his face right now is Pieface. I'll tell you what, when we go back to the virtual Grand Prix and you compete in there, playing on the pad, it's paid off right now, Pieface. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm very happy, mate. I was a bit fuming when I bottled quali, absolutely binned it, but yeah, I'm feeling better now, mate. Feeling better now. I nearly ran out of fuel at the end. I got to like 4 laps. I got to like 4 laps out. Jeff come over and went, "Oh, you got 3 laps left," and I was trying to like lift and coast it. I was on like low fuel for the last sector. It was a bit worrying, but got there in the end, mate.
Yeah, you were sort of edging along, like just kind of just willing. There was will clapping going on. Plymouth's finest made it across the line. And Jeff, in your ear, I've got to ask though, in terms of it was kind of like Checo in the actual Formula One, not quite enough petrol, but managed to do just enough. Els and I think that you'll go pretty far in this grand final. Matt reckons you've got it in the bag. How are you feeling about that?
I don't know about in the bag. Matt loves to put the pressure on. He's like, "Oh, you're on the pad, you'll be all right." Like, I just hope I can do a good job, mate. Obviously, I'd love to win, but you know, still some very, very fast drivers in the second part. So we'll see if I can not bottle it.
Whilst we were watching you race, we were talking about stance whilst we're racing. I say I do tunnel vision. I like to sit forward and proper focus. We were watching you were sat forward just focusing that entire time. What was going through your head for most of the race?
To be fair, like I was trying to work out the undercut. Then when I got into P1, I'm just thinking like, don't bottle it. Then I have Bateson it was a bit silly. Like I saw Bateson go past, and I know Dirk was closing, so I went for a little bit of a kamikaze overtake on Bateson just because I knew Bateson would make it easy. So I thought, right, I got to get this done. But yeah, I tend to just like lean in and try and, as you say, tunnel vision is a good way to put it.
I like that. That extra, if you can find an extra bit of performance somehow, do it. Bateson, I've got to ask, now that you are no longer in the competition, sorry to break it to you, I'm sure you already know that, but will you be supporting Pieface now after that kamikaze overtake?
Not really, no. This is the second time Pieface have raced now. And the last time, at the launch of the last game, I had the better of him. And I probably will have had it this time around, but got a little bit lucky with me.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. You're not even that good, really. Like, you just dive forward and hope for the best. Ridiculous behaviour.
Yeah. Sometimes it's got to be done, mate.
Yeah, sometimes it has to be done, Bateson.
Good luck in the final.
Yeah, look at that.
Thank you.
I love that sports video. And just out of curiosity, who would win in a game of FIFA if it was a best of 3? Who reckons?
Oh, Bateson, any day of the week. Any day.
Yeah.
Don't even need to play it to tell you that. 3-0. Don't even need to play to tell you that.
Oh, listen, Bateson, Pieface, great to chat to you. Best of luck in the next race, and enjoy watching the grand final, Bateson, and the semi-final too. Can't wait for it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So there you have it then, a little bit of pressure on Pieface, but let's see how semi-final 2 is lining up on the grid.
That's right, Tom. Let's take a look at semi-final 2 qualification and how they line up on the grid. It's Nick Hamilton on pole by 3.7 seconds. That is an astounding amount of time and probably the largest gap in Formula One history. In P2, we have Brandon Williams alongside him, and he's going to have to make up quite a bit of time to get anywhere near Nick Hamilton. Then we have Andros Townsend in P3. Ahead of DevStar, who, well, is 5.4 seconds away. Then we have the first of the Akinfenwas, and it is Delhi ahead of his brother, who unfortunately got disqualified in this session, as you can see, down in P9. Then you have Holgate, Godfrey and Munnings. So it's a 9-driver grid for this race, and well, Nick Hamilton certainly looks like he's the favourite, but can he hold on? Will he do it for the F1 Esports Pro Series crew right here? Let's find out. Let's go to the race. Semi-final 2 is about to get underway. And it's lights out and off we go. Well, not many of them actually move, and that's a Ferrari of Holgate is going to take the lead from I don't even know where. That must have been the 4th row of the grid. Holgate's got an unbelievable start ahead of Nick Hamilton, then Williams, then Townsend. Your top 4. I can't believe I've just seen a Ferrari make that many positions up down towards turn 1. There's a Red Bull spinning in the background. That's Munnings, has dropped all the way down to P9. Remember, it's the top 5 that need to get through to the grand finals. So anywhere below, you won't make it. So it is Nick Hamilton now back in the lead. Holgate's actually ghosted, in fact, so Nick Hamilton's gone straight through the Ferrari. There's a yellow flag, no surprise in Sector 1. But it's Nick Hamilton currently running at the moment a second clear. He was clear in qualifying, and he's clear in lap 1 as well. We've got a replay of the start. Let's take a look exactly what happened here. So on the left, we just have, well, I think that might, well, is that a jump start? We can't see the lights from the back way, the back camera angle there, but Holgate, for some reason, got a better start than everybody else. But we continue on. Nick Hamilton has retaken the lead, as I mentioned, ahead of Holgate, so still holding on to P2. Then it's Townsend, then it's DevStar, then it's Godfrey, your top 5. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2 as well. Can we get the clean sweep and get a yellow flag in Sector 3? Yes, we can. A full clean sweep on lap number 1. I'm not sure if that was just activated by my commentator's voice, but either way, let's take a look at DevStar 12, right behind Townsend for P3. Of course, they don't need to fight, but DevStar sent one right up the inside of Townsend and then just turns in on the Mercedes, and that may well, it's not a penalty just yet. That's Nick Hamilton setting the fastest lap of the race as we continue to see a fight here between Townsend and DevStar into turn 1. The Aston Martin, well, puts in quite a bit of speed into that corner, but gets away with it. Now, oh my goodness me, this is getting very, very tasty indeed between the two, and they're still side by side. Townsend retakes the position. Unfortunately, Adebayo Akinfenwa has a penalty and is down in last position. But right now, we're taking a look at the fight for P3. Nick Hamilton is clear away in front at the moment, and he goes up the inside again. There's the Aston Martin. They're going to go side by side once again. This is maybe not the cleanest racing I've ever seen. Oh no, the Aston Martin clips the gravel and is off, but actually continues with decent amount of speed. So the battle continues on between Townsend and DevStar as well. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there as Townsend just let DevStar through. Some sort of sportsmanship going on there. Well, not after the argy-bargy that we've just seen. I wasn't expecting any sportsmanship, but Townsend lets DevStar through into P3. So Nick Hamilton out in front, very comfortable indeed, ahead of Holgate. And, well, we saw some amazing pre-race interviews between the two Akinfenwa brothers, and it is certainly Delhi Akinfenwa out in front in the between the two brothers, but neither of them are going to qualify for the grand final as it stands. We're about to start lap number 3. Nick Hamilton just cruising around. Fastest lap, 1:30.1. You can't even see any of the other drivers in the background. The Mercedes just clear, 5.8 seconds. Loving life. Clearly, he's learnt a lot since joining the F1 Esports Pro Series, and there he is, you can see, certainly using a controller as well. And look at the concentration on his face there. Nick Hamilton wants to win by a lap if he can. It's brilliant to see. He's got a little bit of stretch his neck. Nice relaxation for Nick. He's pulled out another second with that comfortable bit of driving. As we now continue on with the battle between Townsend and DevStar, it continues to rage on. Els and Tom, who's going to come out in this battle?
Oh, wowzers, it really is going on. I mean, you need to be a controlled driver, turning into the corners, being smooth, looking for the apex, coming out. But we haven't seen much of that, apart from this battle. Els. I'm really enjoying this with Dev Griffin. I've worked with Dev, top guy, big gamer, and Andros Townsend showing the pace he has in real-life football, and he's converting that into the F1 2021 game.
I mean, one thing wrong and you've lost the lead. Do you know what I mean? They're so close. It is neck and neck. And I've actually played with Dev as well, gaming. We played an older game, but he seems pretty focused. From what we've seen on his camera, he's really in the zone. I mean, this is the interesting part of the race for me, these two.
Yeah, I mean, they had so much bravado. I mean, we got a penalty for Bayo Akinfenwa, but his brother, Deli, they both said who was the better driver. But at the moment, as Matt kindly pointed out, if you're not in the top 5, you're not going through. So neither of them really has bragging rights. You didn't make it to the grand final. You know, if you're the loser out of a sort of sibling rivalry, you can use that. You didn't get through either, mate.
Exactly. I mean, let's look at the top of the table here. 11 seconds clear.
That's ridiculous.
Nick Hamilton. I mean, I don't want to say anything right now. I'm not going to put anything out there, but he seems like he's quite confident.
Oh, I'm going to put it out there, Els. If he doesn't win this race from being 12 seconds clear, then maybe we don't invite him back. But no, Nick Hamilton's doing an amazing job. Townsend and Devstar still fighting. Just they cannot get enough of going side by side around this brilliant Silverstone circuit, and they continue to wheel bang for the final podium position. Guys, you don't need to fight. It's the grand final where you want to be doing this, but they're like, no, I want to fight right now. And it's great to see this. It's dodgems out there between these two. Thankfully, there's no damage. Otherwise, these two probably wouldn't make it to the end of the race. Townsend takes the position, P3 at the moment, but how long is that going to last? Probably not very long at all. But Williams in P5 is slowly but surely catching up to this battle. And, well, right now, the top 5 are clear of Godfrey, Munnings and the two Akinfenwas who are 8th and 9th. I can't imagine they'll have too many bragging rights, maybe over each other, but that's about it. And for all the big talk, we've not really seen too much pace from the two, have we?
No, not at all. And what I loved, I'm still not over getting that snapshot into these celebrities' sort of life there and their home life. Andros Townsend with the England shirt sign in the background. It almost came home, didn't it, Els? And a fabulous Euros tournament. I would have quite liked to see Andros maybe there with the other boys. They did the nation proud, and I'm so happy they got to the final, England.
Definitely. We were talking before we came on air, and our voices are just coming back today.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
Pause the football chat. Townsend's round.
All of that.
See, I said that I was saying something like this could happen if they keep wheel bashing. All you've got to do is clip the back of their wheel and you spin out. This could be really bad for Townsend.
It could be, but Devstar, they've dropped back, but Godfrey now 3 seconds, 4 seconds behind in time there. So one mistake, because they've got such a good lead, should see them through here, Matt, but you don't want to make another mistake like that.
You don't. Holgate's dipped a few wheels in the gravel as well, and that's allowed Williams up to P2, but there's penalties galore at the moment. There's been a severe collision out there between one of the Akinfenwas, I think that is Bayo Akinfenwa, has had a big collision with Munnings at some point out on the track. Here's Williams, currently running in P2, 19 seconds behind Nick Hamilton at the moment. I think it just shows that Nick Hamilton has the experience that we all thought he did, and he is clear and pretty much home if he continues on his way. But lots of yellow flags out there at the moment, and it's certainly not over for finishing in the top 5, because you now got Godfrey, Akinfenwa, Munnings and the other Akinfenwa dropping out at the moment and not going through to the grand final. But there's all sorts of collisions out there. There's penalties as well. Townsend, I think, has made another mistake because he's dropped down to P5 now. Not running on board with it. There it is. There's the fight between Devstar and Townsend. Once again, they just cannot be separated, can they?
I love this. I think what will be interesting for those that aren't so familiar with the game and with that tyre strategy in the pit stop, when they're going to make it, that could be the difference here. But again, Bayo did say beast mode is a state of mind, and a severe collision I don't think is part of that.
Well, if he can find the beast mode button in his car as well, he'll probably need to press it pretty soon if he wants to have any chance of making it through to the grand final. But it was awesome to see just their good spirit and their banter between each other, and I'm sure they didn't have huge expectations coming into this. But right now, these three, well, they don't need to battle. Holgate, Dev's just running a little bit wide, and Townsend, because they're going to see themselves through to the grand final. Right now, after seeing semi-final 1, the only person I can see getting in the mix is Nick Hamilton to maybe take the throne away from Pieface. And oh, that's Townsend round again. And now he's in
that's
reverse.
bad.
He needs to turn that around pretty quick because Godfrey's only 11 seconds back. And, well, actually, no, that's not Townsend. Who was that? I'm not... Maybe that was Akinfenwa. I'm slightly confused there. Maybe we'll see a replay, but I believe that may have been Bayo Akinfenwa, in fact, because Townsend carries on. Godfrey's 8 seconds back in that Ferrari. And as you can tell, lots of carnage. And here we go. Here is Bayo Akinfenwa. Let's ride on board with him and see what maybe he needs to slightly maybe tweak. One of which I'm seeing immediately is not staying on the track.
Yeah.
But look, he's on the controller, and we've already said how difficult it is on the controller. I can say from being quite experienced on it that it takes so much precision, like so much practice, to be able to fine-tune the angle and the timing with your thumb on a stick to go round each corner at a really high pace. But I think everyone just managing to not get disqualified will be an achievement, certainly. And we now cut back to Devstar going past Holgate, who's made a mistake in the Ferrari. So these three continue to swap positions. But Els, you've had a bit of experience with the controller yesterday, doing a bit of practice. Vale obviously being the corner that you have nightmares about. Did you find it quite difficult to pick up, or was it something that is kind of you get to a level and then after that you maybe push a bit too hard?
Yeah, I definitely think it's harder than being on a sim. I think that what I found when I was looking at Akinfenwa's camera there, it was quite like what I was doing last night, to be honest with you. I wasn't braking hard enough. I think that it was hard to go around the corners. I was going too wide and sort of coming off the tail end of those. So I think the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. And definitely for the people at the top end of this table, we can see it at the top 5. They're doing pretty good. No big collisions as of yet, but before you cut to me, I did see someone sort of fly off of the track in the background. I don't know what happened there, to be honest with you.
The beauty of this celeb race, you don't know who's flying off in the background, but fortunately with no damage on, everyone can continue. And finally, we see some pit stops. Everyone really pushing those soft tyres to the absolute extremes. You may be wondering how that car slowed down so quickly. Well, the pit lane speed assist is on, so it means they don't have to brake and get down to the certain speed limits. And here is the pit window. It is now open, lap 8 to 12 on the mediums. I maybe would have pitted a little bit earlier if you're trying to get an undercut on your rivals, but both of these drivers have come in at the same time, Devstar and Townsend. And that's going to drop one of them out of, well, contention at the moment to go through to the grand final, but there are more pit stops to happen. We've also got Deli Akinfenwa in the pits as well. And slightly surprised by Munnings. I think she's had a little bit of a difficult race, losing quite a bit at the start and not really able to get into contention for that top 5. Here is Townsend. These two, honestly, they must be so closely matched to be together for 8 laps without really getting any more than half a second away from each other. The leader, Nick Hamilton, finally we see him, 30 seconds down the road. You proud of him, Tom?
Do you know what? Good old Nico, working with Nico, top lads, top bants, top driver. That's what I'm going to put out there for Nico Hamilton. But it is something we always talk about, Matt, and with this game as well, is consistency. So you want to put your foot down and really go for it, because, like we're seeing with Andros Townsend and Dev Griffin, they want to win. That competitiveness is there, but you're going to come sliding off the track because you're not being consistent, not staying true to that racing line. But it's very entertaining to watch.
It is indeed. And these two are very interesting to watch as well, the two Akinfenwa brothers. We're taking a look right now.
He's leaning into the corners, Matt.
Yeah, Deli. Look at the concentration on his face. I absolutely love it. Tunnel vision. That is a brilliant thing that Els has brought to this show. That is exactly right. I couldn't put it better myself. You just get lost in the game, don't you? You just forget anything else exists. And that's exactly what Deli is doing right there with that camera angle. We're now taking a look again. I mean, they continue to fight. And in fact, I think there was a bit of time lost there. I think Devstar's had a bit of an issue as he's lost a little bit of time to Townsend. Holgate's in the pits. So the top 5 continue on their merry way. Can there be any sort of inroads made in these last few laps? I mean, you know, it's my job to hype things up, but I'm also going to be slightly realistic here. The top 5 need to do something very drastically wrong to allow any of the bottom 4 to get a chance to get into the grand final. And here is Devstar. He is running in the Aston Martin, 2.4 seconds behind Townsend, who is running that penalty, don't forget. So that will drop Townsend to P5. So any sort of mistake from Andros will maybe put a little bit of pressure on him. Holgate, very surprised to see him all the way down in P6 at the moment. because after that incredible start, must have had a couple of incidents on the way during this race. 25% distance, of course, which means 1 mandatory pit stop. And most of the drivers out there have already made their pit stops. It's lap 10 of 13. Nick Hamilton, I'm surprised he isn't falling asleep at the wheel, to be honest.
A question for you, Matt. So would this be the camera angle that Nick would be driving at the moment? I keep seeing different views from behind the different drivers.
Yes, this is spectator mode. So obviously, whoever's managing the cameras, that's not how they're switching through the cameras. Usually, this is the easiest one in my opinion. This is T-Cam. This is the one I would use if I play the F1 game because it gives you just a bit more awareness of your surroundings. But some of the drivers like to play in cockpit cam. You can move it so the halo doesn't actually sit in the middle, because if you think about being in a real-life car, your eyes would see past the halo and it wouldn't really be an obstruction. But of course, on a game, if you have a block in the way that you can't see past because it's on a game, then you need to be able to remove that. So cockpit cam is also awesome. But for me, I prefer the T-Cam just to give me a little bit more awareness and competitive advantage, because I just massively hate losing, so I want any sort of advantage I possibly can. But there is Nick Hamilton. He hasn't fallen asleep just yet, and 32 seconds clear of the rest of them. I thought he was going to do well, but I did not think he was going to be... Well, he's probably lapped a couple of drivers as well. Munnings and Adebayo Akinfenwa. Probably a lap down if I'm looking using my maths correctly. Here is Godfrey, who's actually caught up to Holgate here. So this is for the final position on the grand final, and the 2 Ferrari drivers will bang. And we've now got an absolute battle on our hands. Godfrey's just saying, get out of the way, Holgate. Press the accelerator, my friend. They're now going to go almost side by side as we head down towards Cops Corner. You've got to turn, though. You've got to turn, Godfrey. You just go straight into the side pod, my friend. He gets away with it, but loses a bit of time to his teammates. Certainly no teammate tactics there. Oh,
the 2 Everton centre-backs going at each other there. There is going to be... Next time they're in training together, they'll be talking about this. You took me out of the race almost.
Yeah, I mean, you kept mentioning bragging rights earlier. Whoever gets through is definitely going to have some bragging rights, because this is for the last position in the finals, so...
I wonder if Holgate slowed down for this battle. I reckon he's like, right, you want a 1v1, let's go.
Well,
Few laps to go.
Mistake there, because Godfrey's overtaken him.
Yeah, it's back and forward, and I can't imagine this will be the final position. Oh, Holgate's gone absolutely Johnny Herbert Bahrain turn 1 if you watch the virtual Grand Prix, and he has just sent it 2 seconds clear now of Godfrey, but he's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, and now he's stopped. What's going on there? Holgate stopped on the line. You've got 2 laps to go. So Holgate, for whatever reason, felt bad maybe for straight line in the corner, but you picked up a penalty. Just carry on. Godfrey now up to P5. And Holgate, well, he'd have to something miraculous, although Godfrey's now taken the grass route, so it really isn't over until the final corner.
Now, I wonder if in Holgate, we've seen previous races here at the Gfinity Arena where people have decided, I think Ian Poulter, the golfer, decided, I'll just stop when there's still a lap to go. But with these, I wonder if Holgate thought, I'll serve the 3-second penalty before it's actually the end of the race. It's the other way. You need to overtake Godfrey by 3 seconds. But hey, I tell you what, it makes it very entertaining when Nico Hamilton has got such an advantage at the top of this race.
Are you getting a message after this show saying, why on earth are you calling me Nico Hamilton, Tom?
I just feel like we're giving it a little bit of vavavoom, giving it a little bit extra.
Do you not think his performance has dropped enough vavavoom into this?
Hey, listen, he's proved me wrong, and therefore it's back to Nick Hamilton.
It is indeed. Penultimate lap of the race, and it is a masterclass from Nick Hamilton. Will he have enough to take on the YouTubers, the Twitch sensations from semi-final 1? I'm maybe a little bit hesitant. I think Pieface and the like maybe have a little bit of an edge on Nick Hamilton, just judging from the fastest laps that I've seen. But at the same time, anything can happen. And a 38-second victory, well, it's not even over yet. We've still got another lap to go. But a comprehensive victory, although, Nick, you've got to remember there's track limits, my friend. Although I know it's lenient, so it's fine. We have got the most lenient rule settings. Of course, you can change it when you play F1 2021 to really kind of adjust to your skill level. As that's why he went wide, because he was trying to set the fastest lap of the race. 29.2 on the medium tyres for Nick Hamilton as he starts the final lap of the race. And look, he wants that McLaren in front. He's like, no, I want to lap him. That is, in fact, Deli Akinfenwa in P7. So that's what Nick Hamilton's got in his mind now, because he's a racing driver. He wants to just shove his dominance to every single driver in this field. You know, he's limbering up a bit with his neck. You know, he's not feeling the G-forces, I can tell you that. But, you know, maybe he's a little bit, you know, just maybe not tunnel vision, because he's so far ahead that you don't really need to focus. Deli Akinfenwa has gone a touch wide there. Of course, gone ghosted because he's being lapped, which, of course, helps in online lobbies when some drivers don't maybe understand the blue flag ruling. It's just to allow for no collisions with the leaders and the lapped cars. But no such problems for Nick Hamilton. Through Maggots and Beckett's he comes. Don't bid it now, Nick. That would be really embarrassing. We are riding on board with you right now, but I'm sure he has got this very much in the bag. He can't hear me either, so it's not really going to affect his performance. Down hanger straight he comes for the final time. It's been a miraculous performance from Nick Hamilton, it has to be said. Through Stowe Corner, hits the apex as well. You know what? He's just showing off now. Into the El's the Witch corner, which
A new name.
Nick Hamilton has certainly taken all the advice necessary. And round the final corner he comes. Nick Hamilton wins semi-final 2 at Silverstone, and he just pops his controller down. Beautiful stuff from Nick Hamilton. We now all have to make a cup of tea before we see Williams come over the line in P2, but it's going to be Nick Hamilton, Williams, Townsend, Devstar and Holgate, although we might have to wait a few, maybe half a minute, to find out if he has enough of a gap to Godfrey behind, because Holgate's actually got ahead of Godfrey at a time when we've been watching Nick Hamilton. Here is Williams, Brandon Williams. Into Vale he comes. 5.4 seconds ahead of Townsend behind. It's been a pretty decent drive, to be fair. To be, I know, quite a way behind Nick Hamilton, but still to finish P2 when the world is watching is a lovely performance, and we'll see him in the grand final. We'll also see Andros Townsend in the grand final, and there's yellow flags out there, so there's still things going on, but Holgate is stretching his lead over Godfrey, and I believe when we wait for around 30 seconds, we're going to see Holgate be the final of the grand finalists as we take a look at Nick Hamilton cruising around, waving to the fans. What a beautiful performance from Nick Hamilton. And the other drivers, of course, you can see, oh no, Adebayo Akinfenwa's been disqualified. No, that is Adebayo Akinfenwa's been disqualified on the final lap of the race for multiple penalties. That's gonna be painful, and especially in the brotherly rivalry. However, Holgate, I'm just gonna have a look here, is losing a bit of time to Godfrey. Can Godfrey make up some time? It looks like he's made a mistake in the final couple of corners, and it's going to be Holgate, the final grand finalist. But Nick Hamilton, the winner of semi-final 2.
Wow, what a race from Mr. Nico Hamilton. Although he did win, so Nick Hamilton, it was emphatic. The distance between him and Brandon Williams was phenomenal.
I know, and he says he's not experienced on the controller as much, but he put in a pretty convincing performance just then. So.
Very convincing indeed. And that battle between the two Everton centre-backs, Holgate and Godfrey. But I want to talk to a man who had an incredible battle with Andros Townsend, and that is the one and only Dev Griffin, who's joining me now, and the winner of that race. Dev, what was going on? Andros had your number, then you had his number. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a game plan going into it. I was going to pretend like I was playing Mario Kart for a little bit. I was going to be very physical. I was going to try and demand some space. I quickly realized that wasn't going to be a good technique. But I actually felt I did much better when I wasn't distracted by all the other drivers. But I did really enjoy the sort of intense battle, the clashing of the bumpers. I was into that.
It's quite a dangerous game to play that, because one wrong wheel bump and you're spinning out. I mean, you said you were going to play like it's Mario Kart, but we keep mentioning this thing, tunnel vision. So you have to concentrate. You can't be distracted by what's going on around you. And I think you soon learned that during your rivalry with Townsend.
Yeah, I really did. You know, I've practiced the game a little bit, and I've been playing with the ghost cars. So it was much different to play with the physical cars where you can actually bump each other off the track. I think I had 2 spin outs during that one. It wasn't good.
Yeah, we're watching you enjoy it at the moment, making sure your hair's all right. You just, you know, look good, feel good, you're smiling, you're laughing. I imagine there was a lot of chat going on.
It's all part of it, you know. If you look good, you know, if you feel good, you're probably going to play good, which I think I disproved today, but there you go.
Yeah, I used that phrase earlier on, and Matt Gallagher wasn't happy about that. However, though, just above you in the screen right now is Nico Hamilton. Is it okay to call you Nico?
Of course it is, Tomo.
Oh, brilliant. Nick, phenomenal race. You had a bit of everything, getting the fastest lap time. It looked a bit easy for you, was it?
No, I mean, it's never easy. I didn't know who I was actually racing against, so I just got my head down and I used it as sort of practice. I think it's the first time I've used the control pad for a long time, and I think the biggest wake-up call is going onto the medium tyre, completely different. It feels so much different than the soft did. So yeah, it was really cool, and I was just trying to be as consistent as possible and just understand the new dynamics of the game. So yeah, it was good fun.
He's talking like a champion, Els, already.
I know, confidence.
Yeah, it's just a semi-final, Nick. Calm down a little bit, you know? You've got the grand final to go. And also, did you notice the way he said, I didn't even know who I was racing against, and I saw Dev was a little bit annoyed about that. It was a real sort of, I don't know who these people are. Dev, what did you think of that?
Oh, it's all good. I'm used to it. People recognise my voice anyway, not my face, so I'm all right. I'm good.
That is everywhere. And Nick, going into the final, pie face, you're going to have to face. There's some really good, talented drivers out there. Are you feeling confident, Nick?
Yeah, I'm just going to drive my own race and see what my pace can bring. But it's all for a good cause. I think it's a fantastic game so far, and I'm really enjoying the new features, the physics. Seem like they've improved a lot, which is nice. Everything's a bit more realistic, which is cool. So yeah, I'm up against these guys who look really strong in their first semi-final. I actually didn't know what semi-final I was in, so I was asking. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting up against them.
Oh, well, there you go. That was a really nice comment there from Nick. He doesn't know who the other drivers are. Then they're insignificant. But there you go. He's going to go into the grand final. Dev will also be competing. Hopefully, he'll get a little bit closer. Gentlemen, congratulations on making it to the grand final.
Yes, thank you. See you in a bit.
Thank you.
So good to chat to Nick and Dev, and I was only joking with Nick Hamilton. He's the consummate professional, I'm sure, do brilliantly in the grand final. Although, Els, I'm hearing there's going to be a surprise addition. Matt Gallagher has more on this as he shows us the starting grid.
Well, actually, Tom, it's seeded based on semi-final 1 and semi-final 2. So there's no qualifying. It's straight into the grand final. And guess what? The race is ready right now. Here we are then, the grand final of the F1 2021 Celebrity Race-Off. We're underway at Silverstone. Pieface on pole position ahead of Dirk Chocolate as they head down towards turn 1. Pieface continues on in the lead ahead of Dirk Chocolate and Niren. Then you got Nick Hamilton and Chesnoid Gaming, the top 5 as we head down towards turn 3. Is that a move I see from Niren? It is indeed. It's the Red Bull versus the AlphaTauri as we head into this left-hander. Pieface still in the lead ahead of Dirk Chocolate. Niren, oh, Dirk Chocolate's gone round in the Red Bull. He's thrown it away on lap 1. What a shame after running in P2. Such a strong race, potentially ahead of him. Now down the toilet, unfortunately. Pieface leading ahead of Niren. Then you've got Nick Hamilton, our winner from semi-final 2. He won by a country mile, but this time he has much stiffer competition, as you can see. Look at the motivation. He's staring at the screen. He's tunnel visioning right now to try and win this grand final, but right now Pieface still in the lead as Nick Hamilton misses the apex of Copse Corner by quite some way, but Niren missing it even slightly further, to be honest. So we head into Magnussen Beckett's. Nick Hamilton just getting slightly on the exit curb there as he entered the fast complex of corners, but he gets away with it. Now we're taking a look at Niren, the quadrant member. He's closing in on Pieface, but no DRS just yet. Yellow flags all over the place. Niren laughing away as he heads into Stowe Corner. It's great to see the good vibes in this F1 2021 Celebrity Race-Off as we see some positions changing further down the field, and Nick Hamilton is jostling for position with Tommy T999 as they fight for the final podium position. But right now, Pieface, of course, setting the fastest lap as that was the first racing lap. Here is Tommy T in the Ferrari, all over the back of Nick Hamilton as we come into the first sector. Can he make a move up the inside? Thinks better of it. Nick Hamilton quite strong on the brakes, it has to be said, as we now turn our attentions to the next straight, and no DRS just yet either. Only lap 2, the predicted pit stop strategy. Pretty much, I would say, go for soft mediums. The hard tyres doesn't really need to be used unless you want to go for a very long stint on them. As Tommy, very late on the brakes, missing the apex slightly, meaning he runs a little bit wide, loses a little bit of time to Nick Hamilton in P3. The fight at the front is still less than 1 second between Pieface and Niren. It's finally poised at the moment in this grand final, and it's great to see. No Nick Hamilton running off 45 seconds in the distance. We've got a battle on our hands as Niren makes up some serious time through Copse Corner. It has to be said, it's now half a second between the Haas and the Alpha Tauri. Can Niren mount a charge against Pieface? Well, he's going to go straight on at the final part of that section of corners as he's now heading down towards Stowe Corner. And he didn't lose too much time, didn't get a penalty either. Of course, the rules on reasonably lenient, it has to be said, allowing for some mistakes, some corner cutting. We're not going to go full hardcore mode for these guys. Some of them race Formula 1 much more often than the others, so it's much more accessible. Of course, all the drivers as well on the controller as Niren sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:29.2, setting his sights on Pieface. It's less than half a second now. I'm starting to think there might be some sort of change of position as Niren is piling on the pressure. And we saw Pieface in qualifying for the semi-final one, made that mistake in Maggots and Beckett's, which threw away an opportunity to get pole position. Started 8th, of course, got through back to P1 in semi-final 1, but he's got a huge mountain to climb with Niren right behind him. And I hear Tom and Els are standing by in the pit lane. What are you seeing, guys?
Matt, I can't talk. The race is gripping. I'm just absorbed in it. What I am seeing, though, to honestly answer your question, is I'm seeing a brilliant 1-2-3 race going on right now. And Tommy as well. Tommy T999 Els I reckon he could probably take Nick Hamilton, which is not what I expected.
I know, it's crazy, the comparison, because in semi-final 2 we had Nick, who was 40 seconds out front, and it just shows you the level of skill from semi-final 1, because this is so close.
Such a close race. And Jelly obviously making it into this, that wild card, ended up giving him a ticket into the grand final, but in 8th, so not using that ticket wisely, Matt.
No, not at all. It's worth mentioning Pieface is on the medium compound tyre, so he has gone for the slower but more durable tyre, and maybe explains why Niren is so close to him, because that will cost him maybe half a second a lap on those medium tyres. Of course, this is a brand new game, so there hasn't been a huge amount of testing as to exactly what the deltas are between the soft and the mediums, but what I can tell you is that Niren is on the preferential tyre right now, but with Pieface running those mediums, being able to keep track position, he's certainly in the pound seats to go for a very quick stint at the end of the race. But the crucial part will be the transition period. So it'll be when Niren goes into the pits, he'll get fresher mediums and potentially the undercut on Pieface, who will then need to use his soft tyres to his advantage, potentially have to take Niren on track. Let's take a look at Jelly, who, as you say, got a free ticket to the grand final due to another driver dropping out. And he is now trying to fight Devlin, who, well, Devstar was fighting Townsend all race long in semi-final 2. Townsend a little bit further down the road, around 5 seconds or so. But this is a fight for P7. The fight out in front still 0.7 of a second. Look at the amount of speed that Jelly is taking into Copse Corner. Technically illegal, but as I say, with the leniency of rules at play at the moment, they can get away with a few corner cuts and extensions, because we don't want to be throwing out penalties everywhere. This is just a feel-good event to celebrate F1 2021 being launched. And here we go. Is Jelly going to be celebrating P7 with the use of DRS? It's going to fly past with the overspeed into Stowe Corner. Is the Aston Martin going to throw out the inside? Oh, of course he is. Devstar's not going to give that up. But it seems as though Jelly, of course, with no damage, has got away with it and is ahead of Devlin. Now we see a little move from Niren. He wants to win this celebrity race off. Of course he does. He's a gamer, he's a competitor. And oh, he's losing the back end there. Is Niren got a little bit eager. Saw the opportunity potentially up the inside of Pieface, but unfortunately lost the rear end and is now just within DRS range to continue this battle. It's a beautiful sight to see, isn't it?
Absolutely stunning, and on such a sunny day as well, Matt Gallagher. I will say this though, Dirk Chocolate going in for a pit early on, he was really gaining on Townsend in 5th place. That's Townsend in 5th, and Dirk Chocolate was in 6th, and that's an interesting strategy to go for. Going to hopefully get back to P2 where he started this race.
We'll see, but Dirk Chocolate did make that spin, unfortunately, on lap 1, which plummeted him down the order, but clearly does have the pace, because he was very much up there in the first semi-final that we saw, but unfortunately with that huge mistake, may not get into the top 5. We'll see. As the pit stops will start to roll in the next couple of laps. Here's Tommy T999. I'm not going to say 999 because it's just far too... Well, I just said it, but you know what I mean. Just every time I see him, it just takes too long to read his name. So Tommy 999 is currently in P4 in the Ferrari, 1.3 seconds back from Nick Hamilton. So the charge has halted slightly. Niren, now this is the transition phase I was speaking about. Pieface has set the fastest lap of the race on the medium tyres, but Niren into the pits now, getting rid of his soft tyres that will have started to wear at this point. Going to whack on the mediums, see what they're saying. And I'm sure they'll be pretty quick in the first couple of laps, and this is crucial. If Niren wants to win this race, he has to get track position on Pieface. But Pieface will go longer. We'll probably see him come into the pits in the next couple of laps and really try and utilise those soft tyres. Here's Nick Hamilton, 5.3 seconds away from the lead. And I'm sure he'll be pretty happy with this, to be honest. He was messaging me earlier saying his console only just arrived today and he hasn't really done much on the controller. And I'm sure he'll be quite happy with this, using his racing driver skills to the absolute maximum and transitioning all he knows into that controller. It's very difficult to make that move over from a wheel to a controller, but it shows that it can be done, and be done to a high level as well. Pieface, Nick Hamilton, as well as Niren and Tommy as well. They're all doing brilliant job on the controller. And then further back down the field, you know, there are some drivers that don't play the F1 game too often, but that's the beauty. It's you can pick it up and play, and as long as you're having fun, it doesn't really matter how fast you are. Right, Tom?
Oh, Matt, when you asked me earlier on, you said, where would I probably finish?
Go on.
I was going to back myself, and like Elle said, I'd get a wild card place in here, and I'd have put some time into practice, which, when you say that Nick hasn't had chance with his new console, that new gen at his disposal, it just goes to show how well he's doing. And you're saying using his racecraft, all the skills he's learned as a professional driver, does go to show that it does help you in the game.
It certainly helps, for sure, as we see Niren fortunately getting through on Williams here. These two don't want to fight because Niren's pitted, Williams has not. And fortunately for Niren, as I say, these couple of laps are very crucial to make this work and potentially jump Pieface, who continues on his merry way on those medium tyres. And Els, what did you find the most difficult about Silverstone? I know turn 16, let's not dive into it too much, but the rest of the track, what was it that you found the most difficult?
Do you know what I find difficult is the opportunities where you get to go flat out. Is it Apex, where it's like a few, you can weave in and out of them? Yeah. I just don't feel confident going flat out. For some reason, something in me tells me to brake every time, and that's where I lose some sort of speed and momentum. But I think these guys are really confident. What's interesting to me is there's a lot of pressure here. It's the final, and they seem quite headstrong. They seem like maybe the fact that a lot of them do YouTube and game, maybe that sort of experience is coming in and saying, you know what, keep your head strong. I'm going to say it again, tunnel vision, and you know, it's proven to be, especially them top two, quite a close race. I think it's going to be close at the end.
We'll get that printed on a T-shirt, I think, by the end of this this show. Looking back towards the fight at the front, you can see Williams all over the grass trying to keep up with Niren, but he's on 6-lap-old softs. We've got Pieface in the pits. We've got Nick Hamilton also in the pits. Of course, Pieface is going to whack on those soft tyres. I really want to be seeing where Pieface is coming out of the pits, and as if by magic, thank you very much, directors, he is coming out the pits now. Where is he going to feed out compared to Niren? Has Niren had a decent couple of laps? He's currently stuck behind DevStar, actually, and Pieface is going to retake, well, not retake, but come out the pits very comfortably ahead of Niren, which I am slightly surprised about. I think Niren has got caught up behind a couple of drivers that are going very long into this race, and that has allowed Pieface to have nearly a 5-second gap, and that is a lovely buffer. And we've already seen Pieface able to convert victory once. All he has to do for these next 5 laps is keep it on the black stuff and utilise those soft tyres. He'll have the pace advantage, not only maybe via skill, but also with the softer tyre compounds as well. Pieface 6 seconds back from Townsend, and well, we surely see Andros Townsend come into the pits at some point. This is a fight between DevStar and Niren, and unfortunately for Devlin, he has come out worse as Niren, clearly trying to barge his way through, has wiped out a driver that was doing rather well. So carrying on, we're looking at Niren right now in the Alpha Tauri, having that little bit of an incident with DevStart. We can hear some team radio from the quadrant member.
Wow, on high, man, he's actually too quick. On mediums as well.
How's
It's
that
actually
possible?
ridiculous.
What?
It's genuinely ridiculous. I don't understand how he's doing this.
Absolutely love that. So that was a little bit earlier in the race. Niren was complaining about how quick Pi is, which, well, that doesn't give us too much hope that Niren's going to catch Pi Face by the end of this race. 6 seconds, and of course, as I mentioned, they were on different tyre strategies, so that's what Niren was mentioning was, my God, he's on medium tyres and going as quickly, maybe even quicker than me. So Pi Face has the advantage and very much in the pound seats to win this celebrity race-off, which I'm sure we'll see another fist pump if it comes true. But I've just said that, so I'm waiting for something to go wrong for him. But he's going to have to get past Townsend and Williams, who both have yet to stop. 1.6 seconds he is behind Townsend. This could be an opportunity if the two out in front at the moment who have yet to stop don't get out of the way. They are actually fighting out in front as well, as we take a look at Tommy. Just trying to defend from Nick Hamilton. These two battling for what will be P3. So Nick Hamilton's had a very steady lap or two, which has allowed Tommy to get in front in that Ferrari. Number 91, as you can see. And well, Nick Hamilton will not be happy losing a podium spot, I can tell you that for free. He's got one lap fresher tyres on those mediums, and Tommy's used that undercut beautifully. But Nick Hamilton has the DRS now going up the inside into Stowe Corner. Is it going to be clean? It is indeed. And the Mercedes driver, Nick Hamilton, getting through on Tommy T 999. Into Vale Corner we go. And nice move there from Nick. So regains that position that he lost around the pit stops, as we now see Williams and Townsend both in the pits. So Pi Face won't have any problems. Now it is now just him and the open road between securing this celebrity race-off. Near an 8.5 seconds back. Bit of a shame, Tom and Els, to see the battle for the lead sort of simmer out a little bit.
Yeah, Jelly wasn't ready. That's the thing. Wasn't ready.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
Quite a while, Els, I'll be honest with you.
I wasn't even asking him about Jelly, and he's
It's just not set. Who were you asking me about, Matt?
I was saying about the battle for the lead. Pi Face and Niren. It's a bit of a shame that it's simmered out to 9 seconds now, as we see Williams, who's just come out the pits and is going to battle Chesnoid Gaming to the absolute extremes there. Going down Wellington Straight, they're going to continue this fight. With Chesnoid trying to hang it round the outside on the medium. Surely not. There's going to run out of room, and yes, and surely he does. There you go, Jelly's in the background.
Yes, Jelly, he's just not set. Oh, I've already done that. But to answer your question, Matt, from earlier on, I think Pi Face is just showing, and we heard from Niren as well, just how good he is on the game, and that's to show if you're new to getting into F1 2021, you're going to get the game, then you know that with that time, that practice, you can be dominating like Pi Face is. Which just goes to show what that time and effort can do. But Nick Hamilton, as you quite rightly said, would be furious if he didn't get a podium finish.
And he might be about to lose it. I can see it's 0.3 of a second separating the two, and I think Tommy got very close into the braking zone in the last sector. But no overtake just yet. This battle may... Oh, no! Nick Hamilton's bottled it! What have you done, Tom? That was a commentator's curse from Tom Deacon. If I've ever seen it, he'll be phoning you later on today. But Nick Hamilton has dropped it out of turn 1. And now he has a mission on his hands to try and get back ahead of Dirk Chocolate, who's had a brilliant recovery drive after his spin on lap 1. Tom, what do you have to say for yourself?
I have to say for myself that I did predict that Dirk Chocolate would come back into this race. He was the first to pit and has done a fantastic job, because in qualifying he started P2 going into this race and is showing his race pace, which you said, Matt. And Nick, commentator's curse or just a bad turn there. I mean, but don't forget he's using the pads and he didn't get time on his new console, did he, Els? Does this sound like I'm digging myself out of a hole?
Yeah, you do sound like you're waffling a little.
Okay.
One thing I was going to say...
At least I didn't say it.
Yeah, well, sorry. Sorry, Tom. I said earlier one wrong move and it could all be over, but it just looks like Nick did take Tommy's, so he could still be in the run-in to get that podium finish. It is frustrating, though, in these final few laps to do something like that, but it might be the pressure, you know? The pressure may have got to him.
Yeah, I feel like that was you, Matt, putting that pressure on Nick, saying he wanted a podium and he'd be angry, and then I just copied you, basically. You're
okay,
the
fair,
influencer.
if you want to pile it on me, that's fine. I'll take the brunt of the force from Nick at the end of this race, but he is back up to P4. According to the timing screens, Tommy has had a bit of a shocker of a last lap, and that has enabled Nick Hamilton to have some sort of hope to maybe get back on the podium, but he's going to have to close 2.5 seconds in these next couple of laps. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3, which I believe was caused by Jelly, as he has now dropped down to P9. Townsend all over the grass in the first couple of corners, but he's now right behind Williams, in fact, and a smile on his face. That's what we want to see. These two are going to battle it out over these next couple of laps. They're both on the medium compounder tyre. It is even game between the two. There's no advantages in terms of tyres. Who is going to come out on top? We know Townsend said he's going to play like Mario Kart, which is fair enough. I'm not sure the stewards would have a very fond eye on that, but look, the stewards have kind of taken a bit of a break today. The rules are very lenient, and Townsend's getting his elbows out, which is great to see. Here's Williams. We can see him. Look at the concentration on his face there. He misses the apex by quite some mile around Copse Corner, but look, they're just trying to take as much speed as they possibly can. There's no time lost through there, as, well, that's not the most ideal line through Magnussen Beckett. So look at Andros Townsend all over the back, in fact, hitting the rear diffuser of Williams, and that is going to be not pain because there's no damage, but it's going to be DRS for Townsend now, heading down towards Stowe Corner. Surely no move is going to be made here. Oh, he has a little look. Williams runs a little bit wide, maybe tentatively looking in his mirrors to see where Townsend is. Oh, there's going to be the biggest send of all into Vale Corner, turn 16, and they're going to be side by side. Oh, it's actually pretty good racing, I have to say. And of course, with the no damage, they're allowed to have a few wheel bangs here and there. If you're running simulation damage, there's going to be all sorts of front wings flying all over the place. But Williams continues on. Brandon Williams doing a great job in P7 to hold off the aggressive Mario Kart drifting Townsend in P8. And this could continue to rage on this final lap of the race. But let's take a look at Pieface, I think, because he is about to come over the line in the next couple of corners. He's in the middle sector, in fact. 11.8 seconds clear of Niren. Started on pole position. And Pieface didn't make it easy for himself in qualifying in semi-final one. Absolutely speared himself into the wall through Maggots and Beckett's, but he didn't let that get to him. No mentality change. He absolutely thrust his way to P1 in semi-final one, and he's going to also win the grand final here for the F1 2021 Celebrity Race-Off. Pieface wins the British Grand Prix once again. It's 2 wins on the trot for Pieface. It's a fantastic result. He gives it a little fist pump. He is very happy with himself. I kind of thought he would do pretty well. I didn't think he'd win the whole thing, but here he is, Pieface. What a great result. Niren comes home in P2. He couldn't believe the pace of Pieface, and rounding out the podium is Dirk Chocolate. Then you have Nick Hamilton, that mistake right at the end, finishing in P4. Tommy T 999 in P5. Then you'll have Chesnoid Gaming. Williams, Townsend actually gets ahead but picks up a penalty, so that may switch over yet as they come across the line. It's going to be Williams ahead of Townsend. Then you have Jelly, and DevStar had that incident in the middle of the race, rounding out the top 10. There you go, the end. The grand final was won by Pieface.
What a top race. That was brilliant action from the champion. He has been confirmed, the one and only Pieface. Els, we can chat to him now. Pieface, congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it. I was nervy. You know. It's so easy to lose it here, so I had to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Nick Hamilton come off the track towards the end of the race, but you had enough. You had enough tunnel vision, that's the phrase of the day, to get it across the line. But were there any nervous moments, or did you feel like you had it?
Nah, the thing is, man, I'm like a serial bottler, so like I never feel comfortable until I cross the line, really. And especially a track like here, because like especially like Maggots and Beckett's, it's so easy if you just take it a little bit too far, like I did in qualifying. If you take it a little bit too far, it's so easy to lose the car. So yeah, I don't think I ever like quite felt happy until I crossed the line.
I mean, you were pretty consistent throughout. We were watching some of your camera footage there. Concentration was on. Obviously, it's the final. There's a lot at stake here. I mean, I think the top 4 were quite close, but certainly towards sort of the second half of the race, you really took it in your stride, and it was a comfortable win, I would say.
Yeah, so you've got to be very happy with that, Pie Face. And now, obviously, F1 2021 game, I know you'll be streaming, you'll be on Twitch, and just loving it.
Yeah, I'm addicted already, mate. Like this morning we were playing and it got to like 3:30 and I'm like, look, no more. And then, 2 more races later, it's 5 a.m. and we're like, no, we've got, it's just one of them. It's one of them. But yeah, no, I do love it, mate. I do love it. It's quality. It'd be same again today as well. Like, just want to get straight back on it again.
Yeah, well, I know that Els and I and myself are itching to get on, so is Matt Gallagher. There is one thing I want to talk to you about, because you might not have heard it. FNG couldn't believe your race pace today. He said this during it.
On Pie, man, he's actually too quick. On mediums as well. It's actually ridiculous.
Wow.
It's genuinely ridiculous. I don't understand how he's doing this.
That must be nice to hear, right?
Yeah, no, it is, mate. It is. Like, normally I get smoked, right, with the people I race with. I'm normally getting absolutely smoked. So yeah, no, it is nice to hear that. Like, I do try. Like, I just think it's about having, say, a ceiling level, like, because I play with like medium traction and things like that. So I think in order to like be quicker, I've got to kind of take it to the next level, I think. But we'll see in time, we'll see in time.
Yeah, well, listen, I've got to say, from everyone here, a deserving champion in the F1 2021 Celebrity Race-Off. You're the celebrity. You win. Go and enjoy your victory. I'm sure you're just going to get back on and race now.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I think it's going to get myself some dinner, go for a little nap, and then just set it again, mate. I think that's the plan, so.
Love it. Congratulations, Pie Face. Take care.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Els, a deserving champion, brilliant celebrities all competing, just showing how fun the game is. Have you had a fun time being on the desk?
Definitely. I've enjoyed it. I've learnt a lot. That's the main thing. And congratulations to Pie Face once again.
Yeah. Matt, up in the commentary box, you really put it on me there with Nick coming off the track. But have you enjoyed today?
Yeah, it's been awesome. As I mentioned earlier, it's just great to that feeling of getting a brand new Formula One game. I personally can't wait to go and play it, both the single player and also find out how slow I am on multiplayer. But yeah, it's been an awesome day and great to see all these guys getting involved.
Yeah, and will you team up with me for that kind of like 2 players joining the same team? Will you?
I can't hear you, mate. Sorry.
OK, so there you go. That rounds out the day then. F1 2021 Celebrity Race-Off. An amazing game. Check it out. We'll be back very shortly from the Gfinity Arena with the F1 Esports Pro Series. Until then, enjoy it. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.